Thanks so much for joining us here on the WSAZ Now Desk. I'm WSAZ's Kimberly Keggy. We certainly appreciate you joining us as we know that winter storm is quickly approaching this weekend. I want to go ahead and get back to the press conference that we were trying to get from West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey. We were having a little bit of trouble with the technology, but I think we got everything worked out now. So let's go ahead and take a listen as he is giving a briefing to the press. As we are expected to see that storm come in, we know that this is certainly a big deal and a lot of things that people were talking about. So let's go ahead and take a listen in to him.
Rick, how are you? Good to see you. How are you? Good. A lot of stuff going on today. Okay. Well, good afternoon, and I want to thank everyone for coming here today. We wanted to bring people together because this is obviously a very serious time whenever you get reports of a potential snowfall and ice on the roads, and it's critical that people are prepared and handle things the right way. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on that today and field questions you have. But I also wanted to start with a focus on the past week. This has been a terrific week for West Virginia. A lot of success on economic development. I want to give credit to the legislature for all their good work. I want to make sure people know a lot of projects started in the past. We helped bring them across the line. There's plenty of credit to go around. But the numbers we're now looking at are $6.5 billion in private sector investment since October alone. This is before we get to data centers and many other initiatives we're working on. We're excited, and this makes it one of the single best stretches ever in West Virginia history in terms of producing jobs, in terms of really addressing a lot of the core challenges that our citizens face from an affordability perspective. So I'm thrilled about what we're doing, but we're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to keep working to make sure that every West Virginia benefits from all the hard work that we're doing. These were big announcements. We had the gas plant, and we know that that's really terrific up in Moundsville, and of course Frontieras, and the opportunities to take advantage of the wonderful coal that we mine in the ground. That's big as well. And what's really interesting about it is the success we're having on the construction side. There are so many new jobs that are coming to the fore on construction. If you're a sheet metal worker, if you're a contractor, if you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, if you're in the VOTEC area, West Virginia is going to be building like never before. I said that at the State of the State. We anticipate we're going to have a need for another 15 to 20,000 people in this space. We have to make sure that we're spending the next 60 days focusing on having people ready through our universities, our technical colleges, and also luring more people in from outside the state. I think that's important, but a lot of success, a lot more to come, and I want to thank everyone for the terrific week. Now, as you know, as we head into the weekend, we're facing the potential for a very significant winter storm event. I have issued a state of preparedness to get all of the agencies ready, and we've been coordinating closely with counties, emergency management, and having all of our departments ready to go as we expect to get some very difficult weather conditions. Now, there's still some evolving with respect to projections about the weather, so I'm not here to give you an exact forecast. I am not a meteorologist, but what I can tell you is that we want to make sure that we're on top of it and we're ready, whether it's work with the Department of Highways, whether it's our emergency management system coordinating with the counties, or anyone involved in ensuring that people who are in need get access to the help that they deserve. I want to let people know that we have a 211 number that's out there. If you have questions and you want to learn more about what's going on locally, or you want to be put in contact with your local emergency management department, you can reach out to 211. And I believe we have that. Annie, do we have that up there?
That's the non-emergency line for counties.
All right, I'm going to step out for a minute. I'm going to see what we have. Yes. So this is the non-emergency line for counties that people can reference if they go to the website, but also you call 211, you're going to be able to get help you need. That's important. If you're talking about a warming center, or you want to know where the food banks and the food pantries are located, where there are challenges coming with utilities, we think it's critical to have that one-stop shop in place, and I want to let people know about that. All week, there's been a lot of collaboration between state agencies, local emergency managers, public safety officials, utilities, and community organizations. Can point out that this morning, local emergency management directors from across the state met to check in on operational needs, review resource availability, and really engage in planning. It's important to plan and prepare before these storms. At 10 o'clock this morning, there were statewide and regional briefings on the weather, and this once again allows the emergency management and a lot of our officials to review the latest weather models so we can deploy our resources the right way. In addition to the efforts on the part of state government and local, there are representatives from non-governmental, voluntary, and community organizations that are meeting to discuss readiness related to food banks, shelters, and crisis response plans, working on those. If they are needed, they're going to be available, they're going to be ahead of the curve planning for these events. I think these partnerships are critical because you really don't know what's going to happen during these long, cold, wintry events. I know that the goal that I have today is to make sure that the public is very informed of not only what may be coming, but some of the things that they need to be looking out for and the things that are being done to prepare for the storm. We know that we've spent time talking with our state emergency response team, and I'm prepared to activate them. They're in a state of preparedness, but I'm prepared to activate them to be fully online. I expect that we will have a very aggressive staffing throughout the weekend on that, but we'll update you further. We're going to make sure that the state is prepared for this. Also, as people are traveling, we want them to understand that there could be some very difficult conditions. We know that in different parts of the state, there are forecasts for snow. It can range, depending upon where you are, from 3 to 7 inches. But also importantly, there might be a line where it's wintry snow and icy mix. And that could create a very dangerous cocktail that we want people to avoid partaking in. We want to make sure that people are really aware of what's happening on the ground, and then we're of course going to do everything we can as the snow and the ice fall. We have some recommendations for folks who are watching, and we urge you to prepare and take advantage of those, because there are some simple steps that the public can take to significantly reduce risk and keep yourself and your family safe. First, we're asking everyone to review their emergency supplies for both their homes and their vehicles. It's important to be prepared and take the time today to go to the stores, make sure you're getting everything ready. Make sure you have the essentials on hand. And that, of course, includes food and water, medications, blankets, batteries. Also, if you rely on medical equipment that needs power, this is now the time to prepare your backup plan. We think you should check your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors to make sure they're working properly. And we also know during these times we see home-related incidents sometimes on the rise, and so functioning detectors can certainly be beneficial. We're also urging you to refuel your vehicles. Get them ready, because we know that's important, especially if you get stuck in a snowstorm. You want to make sure you have the adequate fuel to come out. Of course, we want people to remember their pets and take advantage of the time to make sure if they're outside a lot that they have the ability to come back indoors. There's so much that has to be done, and we're going to publish a lot of this online for people to take advantage of. But if you do prepare and you're following the weather forecast closely, you're going to avoid worst outcomes, and we think that's critical. It is important that you make sure you have the ability to get emergency alerts. Those are very important, especially dealing with utilities. We've passed laws in the past. I think last year I signed into law something where a utility during difficult time or during shutdowns has to notify the public. That's important. You may be getting some of those notices online. We urge you to pay attention to that, but also to look out for your neighbors. Some of the elderly who may need some extra help, we want to make sure we're all watching out for our fellow neighbors. We are asking people to watch their travel. Without knowing all of the future conditions, it's important for people to pay attention, because while we have unclear amounts of snow coming, we do believe that the ice could be very dangerous along the roads. And of course, we also want to let people know if there are generators, make sure you operate them outside the home, at least 20 feet away, to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. So we want to make sure that you're getting prepared for this storm and also for any of the conditions in the winter. And also, once again, if you need help, reach out to that 211 number and get the assistance that you need, because it's better to be prepared than get stuck in a really bad place. Our priority is keeping West Virginians safe, and if there's a life-threatening emergency, you can call 911, and obviously if you need the help generally, call the 211 number. But the actions you take, they can really save lives. So I'm glad to be here today. I think this is really important that we get everyone prepared, and I'm happy to field any questions that you may have.
Have you all got any determination on where the snow and ice line is going to be? Are you looking at any particular area? I think the power outage was significant.
Well, we know that there's some variation, that there's some areas that may get a little bit of the fluffier snow, and then there are some lines where it might be a little bit more icy. That seems to be evolving, so as we get more information, we'll let people know. But based upon a weather map that I just recently read, there is some variation about the amount of precipitation. Obviously, as you get out to the more mountainous areas, out east, some of the accumulation may be a little bit higher, and so we're looking closely at that. But we do believe that this wintry mix could be potentially dangerous for the entire state, because it is sweeping through, and so we think everyone might get some mix of that snow and that ice, and that does make it disconcerting. But as we get more information, we'll let you know, and obviously we urge people to check in for weather within their area, which can vary across the state.
Yes, so West Virginians might be thinking back to the 2009 snowstorm that caused a lot of havoc, especially on the turnpike.
Yeah.
Is there any plan for those gates to be open during this, or is there any plan at all for the turnpike?
So I know that we're conferring closely with Department of Highways, and we're reaching out, and certainly that includes the turnpike as well. We want to do everything we can to open it up. If we do end up going in that direction, what we'll do is we'll alert the public well in advance. And so I'm asking my team, as they're coordinating with DOH and Turnpike, to make sure that happens. The key will be, if that happens, we'll be alerting people very, very quickly. Bob, Rick?
Are you encouraging people to avoid travel during the peak of this thing?
We are. We think that this is not a good time to go out and travel. Stay off the roads if you can. Look, prepare in advance if you can today. Get ready. But this is supposed to be a pretty problematic storm, and I've talked to enough people to know that these are the kinds of situations that could really hurt a lot of people if you're not prepared. And when you have that icy cocktail, that can cause power outages to go out. And when the weather is very, very cold, this could be a real issue. So I think staying inside is best, but making sure you have a plan and you're watching out for your neighbors is critical too. Hey.
Hello. I was wondering, you said that the National Guard is prepared.
Yeah.
Are you, is there going to come a time when you feel you need to activate them, or what will that look like in order to activate
Yeah,
them?
so I've spoken to General Seward. He is standing by. So right now we're in a state of preparedness. If needed, I will activate the Guard. to get their assistance. But, we're going to keep monitoring it. But they're ready to go, but we have to evolve. Today, it's Friday midday, and we're going to watch. I know that as the storm continues to get closer, we may get more accurate information in terms of what the accumulation or mix looks like. But General Seward has indicated he's ready, his team is ready to spring into action as needed. So we'll make that call as the circumstances warrant it. Any other questions?
Can I change the subject?
Well, I knew you would. Go ahead, sure.
It looks like we're getting into what might be another CBS horror story situation in Taylor County in Grafton. We have a 11-year-old child severely malnutrition.
Yeah.
About 5 weeks after a CPS visit, and it's not clear whether the appropriate actions were taken or not. This death occurred in February of 20.
All right, so that was West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey giving an update about the plans that are in place as we see that winter storm approaching our area just about 24 hours out from when that storm could hit. We are expecting, our team of meteorologists is tracking that. They were talking about kind of the mixture that we could see. There's lots of different precipitation. It's not just snow in this storm that is the concern. There's also the chance for freezing rain, even sleet. And so when you have a mixture of things like that, our team is saying, you know what, it makes for a really messy situation. So West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey giving us a little bit of an update today about the plans that are in place for this weekend. He said the state has now he has declared it as a state of preparedness. So what that means is he's able to mobilize resources pretty quickly should something happen and upgrade the situation. And that really puts all of those crews on standby. We're talking additional road crews. We're talking emergency management crews, people that need to be out and about. He has that plan in place to make sure that, everyone in the state is taken care of. He stressed, though, today, if you are planning on traveling, rethink your plans. He said, we know the Turnpike I-77 eastward is going to be very tricky when it comes to travel. And so that was a little bit of that. He also talked about how he has, should we need the National Guard to come in, help provide different resources. They are also right now in that state of preparedness, so he can upgrade it and declare a state of emergency, and then that really streamlines how quickly things can turn and can change. So he was talking a little bit, and we've heard not only from West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey, but also Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear saying, we're stressing to people, this is a serious situation to take in full seriousness. And so he said, you know what? Change your plans. If you were thinking about traveling, go ahead and switch them. Maybe choose this weekend to stay home instead. But if you do have to be out and about, remember, those road crews, while they are working overtime, it's all hands on deck situation for the next couple of days. Our team says we have 4 first alert days: Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Those temperatures are also a concern when you're dealing with this. And that was something that Dylan Godet was talking to us this morning about. He said, you've really got to be careful because those wind chills are going to be so chilly on Tuesday. So when we're all getting ready to kind of deal with that snow, keep that in mind too. Make sure that you're safe. Make sure that you're bundled up. You have extra emergency supplies in your car. And tonight on our news on WSAZ at 4, 5, and 6, we're going to have full coverage for you. Things that maybe you didn't think about. We're all a little out of practice. It's been a little bit a while, although we had a snowfall earlier this year. Well, I guess that was last year, huh? November, right? The first weekend in November. We're all still a little out of practice. Every time this comes around, we all just need a little reminder. So go ahead and make sure that you have the emergency supplies, maybe even in your car. Put an extra blanket. Put some snacks in case you were to get stuck. They said go ahead, fill up those gas tanks just in case something happens. So we are going to be bringing you as much coverage as we can. And even this weekend, our team will be here to help guide you and help tell the story of what we're seeing in our region. We can't be everywhere at once, though. So if you have pictures and videos, please send them to us. You can download the WSAZ News app, and there's a way to upload them right away. It's very simple, very short, easy that you can do. I also would encourage you, if you are putting together those plans for your family, make sure you download the WSAZ weather app too, because that's another great resource. Nicholas and them, they will send tailored forecast just for your area specific. So if you live in Portsmouth, they can send you alerts at 2 o'clock that says, hey, this is what you're expected to see in a half hour. And so that is really a great way to stay in touch. Of course, we're going to be on the air all day on Saturday and Sunday. Our team is putting together a plan so that we make sure that we have everything covered. And, you know, this is also a great way to stay up to date with us. We're going to be streaming a lot of our stuff as well. You know, we know it's a busy time for families, and we want to make sure that everyone is informed, as safe as possible. And so we hope you join us. And I do hope that you and your family are safe this weekend. We appreciate you joining us here for WSAZ Plus, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon.